Captain Marcus Flynn stared out into the void from the bridge of the Venturer, a reconnaissance vessel orbiting the outer edges of Jupiter's moons. The deep space was usually serene, a vast expanse punctuated only by the occasional communication from Earth or routine status reports from his crew. However, today the sensors beeped unusually, signaling an anomaly. "Captain, we're picking up something. It's big, moving incredibly fast through Sector 7G, Lieutenant Sharma reported, her voice a mix of curiosity and concern. Marcus leaned over her console, his eyes narrowing as he studied the data. The readings were unlike anything he had ever seen. "Can you identify the craft?" he asked, keeping his tone steady despite the rising alarm. "It doesn't match any known designs from Earth or our allies." "It's alien," Sharma replied, her fingers dancing over the controls to refine the scan. Before Marcus could respond, the ship shuddered under a sudden burst of light and energy. A massive vessel, sleek and silver, emerged from the blinding glare, dwarfing the Venturer with its size and imposing presence. "Evasive maneuvers now," Marcus barked, gripping the edges of Sharma's console as the ship rocked from another near-miss attack. The alien craft, unmarked and shimmering, sent a broadcast, a voice cold and metallic echoing through their speakers. "Attention, vessel of Earth. This is the Krylaxi Dominion. Your presence has been deemed an intrusion. Surrender or be destroyed." The crew of the Venturer exchanged uneasy glances. Marcus straightened, his face setting into a mask of resolve. "Lieutenant, open a channel." Sharma nodded, her fingers swift on the controls. "Channel open, Captain." "This is Captain Marcus Flynn of the United Nations Outer Planets Reconnaissance Command. We are on a peaceful mission in accordance with international space laws. We seek parley, not conflict," Marcus stated, his voice firm. The response was immediate and chilling. "Your laws are irrelevant. Surrender your vessel or face annihilation. You have 3 minutes to comply." Marcus turned off the communication and looked at his crew, each member tense but ready for his command. "Prepare for immediate jump to FTL. Send a distress signal to UN Command with all data on these coordinates and the alien craft. Sharma, keep trying to hail them. Maybe they'll respect persistence." As Sharma sent out repeated communications and the engineer prepped the ship for a faster-than-light escape, Marcus's mind raced. The Krylaxi were unknown, but their technology was clearly advanced, and their intentions hostile. Earth needed to be warned. Humanity had to prepare. The ship vibrated as the FTL drive powered up, the tension palpable. Marcus gripped the rail, ready to make the jump, when suddenly the alien vessel fired again, a beam of energy that struck the Venturer's aft shield. "Shield's at 20%. We can't withstand another hit," the engineer called out. "Jump now," Marcus commanded, bracing as the ship lurched forward, disappearing from the alien sights into the safety of FTL travel. Back on Earth, the Situation Room beneath the United Nations Space Command headquarters was a hive of activity. Screens lined the walls displaying star maps and live feeds from various outposts. The room was filled with military brass and representatives from different nations, all with their eyes fixed on Captain Marcus Flynn as he stepped to the podium. "Less than 12 hours ago, we encountered an alien species identifying themselves as the Krylaxi," Marcus began, his voice carrying across the room. "They are technologically advanced and have shown immediate hostility towards us. Here's the footage from the Venturer." The screens flickered to life, showing the sleek silver ship firing on the Venturer. Murmurs filled the room as the footage played, the reality of the threat settling in. General Abrams, a stocky man with a stern face, stood up. "What are our options? If these Krylaxi decide to push into our solar system, do we have the means to defend ourselves?" Marcus nodded to Dr. Emily Sci, who stepped forward with her tablet. "We've been analyzing the data from Captain Flynn's encounter. The Krylaxi ships are powered by what seems to be energy cores that are not just advanced, but unlike anything we've ever seen." She tapped her tablet, bringing up a schematic of the ship. "If we can develop a weapon or a defense system that targets these cores, we might have a chance to disable their ships." A murmur of agreement went around the room. "And how soon can we develop this technology?" asked a delegate from the European Union. "We've already started preliminary research, but we'll need all the resources and minds we can get. This is a global threat. It needs a global response," Dr. Tsai responded. Marcus took over. "We need to prepare for a defensive operation. I propose a combined fleet maneuver around Mars. It's strategic, and its proximity to Earth will give us a tactical advantage. General Abrams nodded. I'll coordinate with the member states for fleet mobilization. We'll need every ship we can get. And I will reach out to my counterparts in other scientific communities. We need to fast-track our research and any defensive technologies, Dr. Sci added. The room filled with a new sense of urgency. Plans were drawn and global communications lit up as the preparations began. Humanity was on the brink of a war with an unknown enemy, but they were not going to stand down. As the meeting adjourned, Marcus stood back, watching the leaders work together. The weight of his next actions felt heavy on his shoulders. He knew what needed to be done, and he was determined to see it through. Prepare all units for Operation Thunderstrike, he said to General Abrams as they walked out of the room together. Will do, Captain. We'll give them hell, the general replied, his voice grim but determined. Marcus looked back at the screen displaying the star map. A tiny dot marked where the Krylaxi had been last seen. Not just hell, he muttered to himself. We'll show them humanity isn't just going to roll over. Not today. Not ever. Saturn's majestic rings served as the dramatic backdrop for what was to become humanity's most daring stand. Captain Marcus Flynn now commanded the flagship Defiance, at the heart of the assembled multinational fleet. His eyes swept over the ranks of ships stretching out into space, each vessel bristling with the newly developed pulse disruptors. The Krylaxi fleet is approaching. All ships maintain formation. Wait for my command. Marcus's voice was calm, transmitted to every ship in the fleet. The tension was palpable. Every crew member across the fleet ready for the battle that would decide their fate. The Krylaxi, confident in their superiority, advanced in a tight formation, their ships gliding effortlessly through the void. They seemed unaware of the trap Marcus had set for them within the densest parts of the rings, where ice and rock could mask energy signatures. As the alien fleet reached the coordinates Marcus had anticipated, he gave the signal. Now! Release the pulse. From hidden positions within the rings, the disruptors activated, sending a cascade of high-frequency pulses tailored to interfere with the Krylaxi's ship systems. The space around the Krylaxi fleet shimmered as their advanced shielding fluctuated under the assault. Direct all fire to their energy cores, Marcus commanded. The human fleet unleashed a barrage of fire, taking advantage of the momentary chaos within the Krylaxi ranks. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers in space, casting eerie lights over Saturn's icy rings. One by one, the Krylaxi ships began to falter, their invincible aura shattered by human ingenuity and resolve. But the Krylaxi were quick to adapt. They regrouped, their return fire precise and devastating. A series of blasts struck the Defiance, rocking the ship violently. Shields holding, but we can't take much more of this, shouted Commander Lee from the navigation station. Marcus gritted his teeth. All ships, focus fire on the lead vessel. It's their command ship. Take it down and the rest will falter. As the human ships concentrated their firepower, Marcus watched as the lead Krylaxi ship began to lose its structural integrity. With a final, determined effort, the human fleet poured everything they had into a last barrage. The command ship's energy core erupted, sending shockwaves through the Krylaxi formation. Debris scattered across the rings, a silent testament to the ferocity of the battle. Cheers broke out across the human fleet as the remaining Krylaxi ships, now leaderless, began to retreat. Marcus allowed himself a brief smile, but his eyes remained on the tactical display. Keep sharp, everyone. This battle is won, but the war is far from over. They'll be back, and we need to be ready. With the Krylaxi fleet temporarily staggered by the loss of their command ship, Marcus sensed an opportunity for a more daring counterstrike. He gathered a team of elite special forces aboard the Defiance, preparing them for a covert mission that could turn the tide of the war. Our objective is to infiltrate one of their disabled ships, gather intelligence, and, if possible, sabotage their systems. Marcus briefed his team in the dim light of the ship's armory, where they geared up with advanced stealth suits and an array of high-tech weaponry. The chosen Krylaxi vessel floated lifelessly near the edge of Saturn's rings, damaged but not destroyed, a perfect target. The human boarding shuttle, its exterior cold and dark to avoid detection, approached silently. As they docked, the team's tech specialist, Sergeant Zhao, hacked the alien airlock. We're in. Remember, stay silent, stay sharp, Marcus whispered, leading the way into the eerie, luminescent corridors of the Krylaxi ship. The interior was a stark contrast to human design, minimalistic and glowing with an ambient blue light. The team moved with precision, using hand signals to communicate as they made their way toward what they believed to be the ship's central core. Suddenly, a group of Krilaxi soldiers appeared, their skin shimmering with an ethereal quality, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim corridor. The humans quickly took cover as Marcus signaled for a silent takedown. With swift, coordinated moves, they neutralized the threat without raising an alarm. Reaching the central core, they found it heavily guarded. Marcus surveyed the setup, then turned to his demolitions expert, Corporal Hawkins. "Can you rig this to blow without us getting caught in the aftermath?" Hawkins nodded, pulling explosives from his pack. "Give me 3 minutes and we'll have a fireworks show ready." Marcus and the rest of the team formed a protective circle as Hawkins worked. Meanwhile, Sergeant Zhao interfaced with the ship's alien technology, attempting to download critical data. "Got something," Zhao exclaimed softly, her device blinking rapidly. "Ship logs, navigational charts, and looks like some kind of tactical database. Copy that onto every data pad. We need redundancy in case one of us doesn't make it back," Marcus ordered, knowing the importance of the information they were about to extract. Just as Hawkins finished setting the charges, an alarm blared, the light shifting to a menacing red. "Time's up! Move out!" Marcus commanded, leading the sprint back to their shuttle. They barely cleared the ship when the explosives detonated, sending a massive shockwave through space. The Krilaxi ship broke apart, its core erupting in a blinding flash of light. Back aboard the Defiance, the team was met with cheers. Marcus handed the data pads to Dr. Sci and the intelligence team. "Figure out their next move. We've just bought Earth some time, but this war is far from over." The Defiance returned to Earth's orbit, greeted by the remnants of the battle-scarred fleet and the beleaguered but spirited cheers of the crew. The information extracted from the Krilaxi ship had provided humanity with much-needed insight into the enemy's tactics and technology. This knowledge sparked a flurry of strategic planning and technological development, turning desperation into a renewed sense of hope. Captain Marcus Flynn stood before a newly assembled war council presenting the intelligence gleaned from the mission. "The data we recovered has revealed weaknesses in the Krilaxi's ship design, specifically in their energy distribution networks. We can exploit this." Dr. Emily Sci chimed in, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and urgency. "Using this information, we've developed a new type of electromagnetic pulse weapon. If successful, it could disable the Krilaxi fleet long enough for us to launch a counteroffensive." General Abrams, overseeing the military strategy, nodded approvingly. "We'll deploy this weapon system fleet-wide. It's time to take the fight to them." Preparations began immediately. Across Earth and its colonies, shipyards buzzed around the clock, retrofitting vessels with the new technology. Training simulations and drills were conducted relentlessly, with Marcus often leading the charge, pushing his crews to their limits. A few weeks later, the human fleet, larger and more formidable than before, gathered at the Martian defense perimeter. Marcus, aboard the Defiance, reviewed the battle plans one last time. "This is it. Let's make sure it counts," he muttered to himself before addressing his fleet. "All ships, this is Captain Flynn. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for the survival of humanity. Stay sharp, follow the plan, and watch each other's backs. Good luck." As the fleet moved into position, the Krilaxi appeared, seemingly prepared for another easy victory. However, they were met with a surprise. On Marcus's command, the fleet unleashed the new electromagnetic pulses simultaneously. The space between the two armies crackled with energy, the pulses striking the Krilaxi ships and sending their systems into chaos. "Now, attack!" Marcus ordered. The human ships surged forward, their weapons blazing. The Krilaxi, disoriented and crippled, struggled to mount a defense. The battle raged fiercely, with human ships darting through the disarrayed ranks of the Krilaxi. Marcus led the Defiance deep into the heart of the enemy formation, targeting their flagship. Within minutes, the mighty Krilaxi vessel faltered, its shields failing under the concentrated fire from multiple human ships. With the destruction of their flagship, the Krilaxi fleet began to retreat. Cheers erupted across the human fleet, but Marcus remained focused. "Track their trajectory. They'll head back to their home system. We need to be ready for the next phase. This war ends on our terms," he declared. Back on Earth, news of the victory spread rapidly. People around the world celebrated, their spirits lifted by the stunning turnaround. But for Marcus and his crew, the fight was far from over. They knew the final and most decisive battle was yet to come. With the momentum of their recent victory fueling their resolve, Marcus, Flynn, and the human fleet prepared for the final phase of the conflict. A direct assault on the Kralaxi homeworld. Intelligence suggested that the Kralaxi, while regrouping, were vulnerable without their flagship to coordinate their defenses. It was now or never. As the fleet assembled at the edge of the wormhole leading to the Kralaxi system, Marcus addressed his troops once more. This is the culmination of everything we've fought for. Behind this wormhole lies the heart of the Kralaxi civilization. We strike fast, we strike hard, and we end this threat once and for all. The journey through the wormhole was tense, the ships buffeted by the turbulent energies. Emerging on the other side, they were met with the sight of the Kralaxi homeworld, a planet encased in shimmering shields and dotted with towering structures that radiated power and menace. The initial encounter was less a battle and more a cataclysm. The human fleet, enhanced with every piece of technology they had managed to develop or adapt from the Kralaxi, launched a coordinated strike on the planet's shield generators. Marcus piloted the Defiance at the forefront, leading the charge. Explosions lit up the space around them as the shields flickered and failed under the relentless assault. Marcus's voice was steady as he issued commands, guiding his fleet with precision. All units, target the capital. Disable their command centers. Watch for any counterattacks. The battle for the Kralaxi homeworld was fierce. The Kralaxi, realizing the seriousness of the threat, fought with desperate ferocity. Energy beams crisscrossed the battlefield and Marcus dodged and weaved through the chaos, his ship's weapons blazing. As the Defiance approached the capital, a massive structure that served as both the Kralaxi's command hub and their leader's fortress, Marcus spotted an opening. "All ships, cover me," he ordered, directing the Defiance towards the heart of the enemy. The final confrontation was intense. Marcus personally led a boarding party into the Kralaxi command center, where they encountered the supreme leader of the Kralaxi, a towering figure radiating power and authority. The air crackled with energy as they faced off. "You have fought well, human," the supreme leader acknowledged, his voice echoing through the chamber. "But you cannot win. Our civilization has stood for millennia." Marcus faced him squarely, his weapon aimed. "Your civilization thrives on conquest. Today that ends. We've learned from you, adapted, and now we overcome." The battle within the command center was brutal but swift. Utilizing tactics learned from every engagement with the Kralaxi, Marcus and his team overwhelmed the guards. In a decisive move, Marcus disabled the Supreme Leader's armor, rendering him vulnerable for the first time. "You may be immortal, but today you have met your match," Marcus declared, securing the leader. The surrender of the Supreme Leader signaled the collapse of the Kralaxi resistance. With their command structure shattered and their leader in custody, the remaining Kralaxi forces ceased fighting. Marcus looked around at the subdued Kralaxi, then to his own team, battle-weary but victorious. "Secure the area. The war is over. Let's start the peace." Back through the wormhole, news of the victory reached Earth. Celebrations erupted across the globe. But none felt the weight of the victory more deeply than Marcus. As he stood in the ruins of the Kralaxi capital, he knew that the hardest task lay ahead, building a lasting peace from the ashes of war.